How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another video of the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, where we're bringing Brabham back to the very top of Formula 1. In the last episode, it was the Canadian Grand Prix, a very wet Canadian Grand Prix at that, and thanks to you guys in the comments in the previous video from Azerbaijan, I was able to look at the setup and we were able to get a great result by sacrificing our qualifying pace to have a really good race car, and it paid off with a P6 finish and a car that felt really strong in that race. Heading into the French Grand Prix at Paul Ricard this time round, and we have had a couple of updates come onto the car through our R&D progress, so hopefully we'll be able to have a good result. And it's a track that I've typically struggled at previous games, but obviously I've got a wheel now, so hopefully that'll be different, and we'll see where the car is, and hopefully we can have a good one. Heading into our practice programs now, I felt reasonably comfortable, but I was really struggling with the balance of the car. I got used to the circuit pretty quickly. They have reprofiled a couple of the corners, so it was a little bit tricky, particularly turn 1 and 2. You can't get away with as much as you were in previous titles, I think from last year, so it was okay. The balance was alright. I did a couple of setup changes that helped a little bit, but not drastically. I really struggled to find a good balance with the car. Managed to get all our practice programs done, which was great, and hopefully we'll have a good one for qualifying. Into qualifying now, coming through turns 1 and 2, using a little bit of road on the exit. Maybe a bit too much. Did get a warning, didn't get a penalty, luckily. Lap wasn't invalidated. Going that wide probably doesn't hinder you too much, and it doesn't gain all that much either, really, because you are on those curbs. I felt like the lap was very average. I just struggled with the balance. Understeer was pretty bad, and you can see us coming around the last corner for our first run, and a little bit of oversteer on the exit. Would have lost maybe a tenth and a half on the run up to the line, and a 1:30.6, which put us P21, which really wasn't good enough. I was quite a bit way off Mick as well, and then on our second run, I just didn't put the lap together. I was probably overdriving, in my opinion. I think I could have done a lot better with my own personal lap, but it is what it is. Again, the balance wasn't great. Stuck a new set of tyres on, and you can see here I'm 6/10 off my pace, and that was a kind of story of it, really. You can see at the end of the session, P21 for me and P20 for Mick. Only Nicholas Latifi behind us. Not a great qualifying for either of us. I expect a lot better of myself, and we'll get into the race.
Welcome to the circuit Paul Ricard, current home of the French Grand Prix, an event dating all the way back to 1906. It's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt the feature of many a highlights reel. And let's hope we see more of those in the race today. 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral Straight at around 205 miles per hour. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Can we talk about Mercedes? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Albon, Perez, Ricciardo, Stroll and Carlos Sainz, Ocon, Raikkonen, Antonio Giovinazzi and Grosjean, Magnussen, Kvyat, Pierre Gasly and George Russell, Schumacher, Mr. Monaco, Norris. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out.
Here we are, ready for the French Grand Prix. Qualifying did not go to plan. I tried to do a second run with a different setup, but it didn't work out. It was quite limiting on what I could change. So it is what it is. We're going to be starting right at the back. Hopefully we can just make our pace better. Sometimes the AI are particularly good in qualifying, so hopefully we've got a bit more race pace in the car and we're going to work our way, hopefully, towards the points if we can, but I'm not overly confident, if I'm honest, but let's see and let's get into it. Strategy is going to be a one-stop. I'm going to go medium to hard, just get some track position. I'm going to come in a lap early and hopefully we'll be able to get towards the end of the race and have good track position and just sit on the hard tyre, because I'm not overly confident. I think track position is going to be better than trying to go aggressive, because I'm not sure we've got the pace in the car at this track to really make a two-stop work. Ready for the start of the French Grand Prix. Schumacher to our left, Russell ahead, and away we go. Good run off the line there, great run off the line. Got Gasly on my inside. We know we've always got to be careful of him. And we got up the inside of Mags here. Oh, a bit of oversteer there. I'll have to just commit to the throttle. It's alright. Up the inside of Grosjean. Take that. Oh, press pause. Good effort. Let's put us up into P12. Managed to get great track position here. And Raikkonen's going to come streaming past us because he's got an absolute rocket ship in the back of that Alfa Romeo. Nancy, try and hang it around the outside. He's just so much quicker in a straight line than we are. A bit wide there. Not a bad first lap, considering where we started. Really wide there. That's alright. Grosjean right behind us. I'm just wondering if this issue here, the 66%, is going to affect us during this race. It's one track limits already. It's very easy to go over track limits. They've reprofiled the turn 1 and 2. We're struggling through long corners, which shows that the car's not great, because the longer the corner, the more issue you have. If you've got an issue, or a lack of balance, or a car that's understeery, let's say, you're going to understeer even more because it loads the tyre up too much. And means that you're going to understeer more and more and more, and it compounds the issue. Whereas you go through shorter corners, the issue isn't there for as long. And it seems like we're struggling in a straight line, particularly at the moment. Use my ERS down here, and I'll have to use it at the next straight as well. We're going to come under pressure very quickly from Grosjean. A lot of pressure here. Grosjean's right behind. I'm using as much ERS as I can, as he's got DRS. Quick, flat out right-hander. So he's gaining and gaining the whole way through. Set up the inside, called it. Managed to get out, get on the throttle a bit earlier than he did. But this last sector, from the end of that straight, really, sort of the main straight, I really struggle with the car right behind us now. Might have to do a bit of defending. I need to conserve my ERS as well. Good through turn 1 and 2 though, and this section here. Great run on me. Try and defend as hard as I can. Let him know I'm not going to make it easy for him, but feels like only a matter of time really before he does come past. Running out of ERS. The boys come into the pits. We're going long on this first stint. They've got the pace to do a 2-stop though. There's no way in the world I've got the pace to be doing 2 stops in this race. Fair amount of tyre wear at this circuit as well. Lots of long corners, really digging into the tyre. He's got a run on me now. This is not good. Going hard on these. He's made contact. It's quite clear where I'm going, Grosjean, so why have you just tried to send that there? It's alright. Hopefully he's picked up a bit of wing damage, but we're struggling in a straight line, we're struggling through the corners. This circuit certainly does not suit our car. And look at that, it's just breezed past me, no DRS. I have a feeling that the car's not quite working the way I need it to. I think we may have an issue because slightly worn part. The engine seems to be affecting us here. Just with the lack of straight line speed. You can see Grosjean's pace in comparison to us. Bottas comes out. Keep pace with Grosjean here. And he'll come past me now. Let him go up the inside. I'm going to fight him. Just able to get on the throttle so much better than I am through there. I'm just struggling with oversteer the whole way through it. Now Kvyat, both with DRS. We've got the same engine. Maybe we don't have a problem. I guess the Ferrari engine car, which hasn't been patched yet, must just have a lot more pace in a straight line than we do. I mean, it's this last little bit of the straight where I seem to be losing that real top end speed. I think it's an issue because if I lean the car off for the aero, then I'd be even worse through the corners, which is not something that I need. There's the yellow flags. I'm sure that's full. Grosjean's had a problem. That'll give us a great opportunity. Another place ahead. Kvyat's coming so quick. Car's not working well today, I'll tell you that. Hamilton will be fuming, stuck in this pack behind us. This Bottas has just gapped all of us. So much understeer, I can't get the car rotated enough. Kvyat's come straight back past us. Hamilton's streamed by as well. Side of here maybe. Just gonna get it stopped. We've got a lot of work to do. I much prefer this pit entry, by the way, in comparison to the one that kind of came off the last corner, but it's not going well. Everyone's gone past us. We have pitted a lap early, but with the pace that they've got in comparison to me, I feel like they're going to be ahead of us anyway because they're a lot quicker. 2-second pit stop, that is fantastic. Great job by the boys in the pit lane. Clear air. Whoa, struggled there to understeer. this lap to try and get the most out of the car, to try and just build a little bit of a gap to those cars around us when they pit. Pits. There you go, cheers Jeff. We'll jump a fair few. And that pitting lap early out for us there. So we've managed to build a gap to cars behind. Gasly. Interesting where Kvyat and Magnussen come out in all this. We have jumped those in the pits, which is fantastic, giving us a bit of a gap there. They can just battle between themselves and we can finish strong. I'm not confident, but I've got to keep trying and keep pushing ERS efficiently. And if they can battle between themselves, the gap's 2.1. Let's see what it's like in a few laps' time, but hopefully they're all on hard, so we're all on the same strategy. Gio slowing down, that puts us in P11. It's not great news. The annoying thing is that in qualifying that wasn't a problem. It wasn't that worn. I only did 3 laps in quali. Not even, I only did 2 laps in quali. So the fact that we've got engine trouble is a bit frustrating because in qualifying it's absolutely fine. I didn't get told about any issues. Normally, even in qualifying, Jeff will come on the radio and be like, hey, you've got problems. Our problems are the car at the minute, more so than the engine, but obviously that is going to hinder us massively, as I've absolutely messed that up so hard. That was so bad. Holy hell. They come so quick down the straights. That last section is mad. The amount that they gain on me is just ridiculous. Try and get that stopped. Oh, I mean, look at that. That is just... Oh, as if, mate. You're going to just knock into me there. Try and get that stopped. Pushed wide by Kvyat. I just don't understand what it is about AlphaTauris and them finding their way to hit my car. I wonder if Mick has the same issue. Probably not. It makes it a bit slower. It's not even got DRS. I'm not even going to fight this one. There's no point. Tuck in behind him. So much on the exits. Try and use a bit of ERS, get in behind him to try and pull away from Kvyat. There's so much pressure here. Oh, I'm going to send it around the outside. Oh, press the start button. What's happened? Oh, and he's come off and hit everyone. What is going on there? Hang on, I'm going to just quickly have a little look at what's just gone on there, because I've tried to go around the outside of him, kind of like that. Just have a little look. And he's spun, and then everyone has just parked it. Everyone has parked it. Look at that. What is that? What is that? Let's go back. I'm trying to go back as quickly as possible here. Let's look at it from Kvyat's point of view. I've come across. He's had a spin, and then everyone's just stopped. What is that? If that's ever happened to you guys, let me know, because that is absurd. But fortunately, it looked like he spun on his own. I'm going to have to go back again here and have a little look from his point of view. Let's go to Kvyat. Let's go slow-mo. Let's change the angle. There we go. He's come inside. He's one. I mean, first of all, he's one-handed through the corner. Don't know what that's all about. He's all over the curb. I've chopped him. Oh, we've made a bit of contact. We have made a bit of contact. I mean, I try to give him room, but I don't want. I'm on a penalty. Well, if I go over track limits one more time, I've got a penalty. So I'm trying to be super careful not to run too wide there. Somehow that's damaged the suspension enough. And then maybe I can look that way now. And then everyone's just stopped with him. That is mental. Well, look, we're going to carry on. It is what it is. Everyone's stopped, so problem and get P9. I mean, that was absurd. I have no idea what's gone on there, but we've got 3 laps to go. We've got a gap of nearly 7 seconds. And I can't imagine I would have any damage either. I'll have a little look. No damage, just a bit of tyre wear, but that's fine. That is the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever seen. It is what it is, I suppose. I mean, we'll take it, won't we? On to the final lap. Giovinazzi's gapped us a bit. The gap behind is still maintaining, so messed up a bit, but that's fine. We've got plenty of time in the bag behind us. And what a strange sequence of circumstances to occur. Like, it just doesn't, that does not make any sense to me. If that's happened to you guys, let me know. But I've never seen, I mean, I know at places like Monaco it happens, but I didn't think it would happen. I want to go lean mix, save the engine a bit. I've never seen that on a track that's this wide. With that much space, just seems ridiculous. Bottas wins the race, extending his lead in the championship. But that was crazy. I've never seen anything like that. It's absurd. Everyone just stopped. And I'm surprised that Kvyat's span and got that much damage. It didn't make any sense that the car would just DNF straight away from that point of view. And cause that much damage, but it is what it is. We've benefited massively from that. The contact wasn't even that much. I mean, in theory, I was ahead in the corner, so it's almost his fault, really. He's taking himself out of the race. But as we come around the final corner, the French Grand Prix, P10, after the most bizarre set of circumstances I've ever seen. There we have it. P10, we got a point. It's just madness. I can't believe that we've ended up with points in this race after being so slow. Driver of the day as well, not a surprise with a car this bad. It really was a struggle, but I can't believe what I've seen there. That was just utter madness. Toto Wolff celebrating. Valtteri Bottas extends his lead in the championship, and he's making a real claim this year. And the new black livery is on that Mercedes, which looks unbelievable. Let me know what you prefer, the silver or the black. I love the black livery on that Merc. It looks amazing in real life and on this game now as well, now that the updates come out. But what a race that was. We were struggling so much. I was able to defend, and then those last few laps prior to that mistake that led to that situation, they weren't catching as quick. It only led to my mistake that caused that situation for him to be in a position to try and overtake me. So I felt like towards the end of that Grand Prix, as tyre wear kicked in, I had good pace, but what a strange set of circumstances. It was crazy.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight
Hamilton
amongst the Mercedes team.
Somehow salvaged the P2. He came past us with not that many laps to go. Shows how quick that Mercedes is. And Charles Leclerc in P3. So there we have it. Valtteri Bottas from Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, Vettel, Ocon at its home Grand Prix with 5th. That's a great result. Kimi Raikkonen and Giovinazzi both in the points is a huge result for them. P10 for me, after what can only be described as the strangest set of circumstances I've ever seen on a game, because that was the way everyone just stopped, and the amount of damage that Kvyat had on his car was absolutely crazy. Gasly finished just behind us. We beat Magnussen as well. Mick P16, that's probably his best result, but look at the guys behind him. Sainz, Ricciardo, Norris. Kvyat obviously ended up 3 laps behind. Verstappen and Grosjean both DNFing. What a race that is. Let's have a look at the start. Got a good run off the line. I felt like I was pretty strong into this first corner. Always seemed to get a good launch. For the last few games, the AI have always got a better start, whereas this year I feel like I always get a good start in comparison, which can only be a benefit to us. Up the inside of a few there. Didn't make any contact, which was good. Through the right-hander. Ran pretty wide, but I had to commit to it. That was already one of my track limits issues, but these long corners did not suit our car. I felt like I had no pace. In a straight line, we were a bit average. We had issues with the engine as well, with the battery system, so I felt like a sitting duck at times. You can see just a bit of a procession, really. It's a long straight, but I was able to defend pretty well into some of these corners. You can see Grosjean did end up coming past us. I made a mistake and had to defend super hard. Weaving around the track, probably a little bit too much, but you can see Kvyat's got past us there, and I was able to send one up the inside, little bit of contact. I was able to hang it round the outside here, and this is where Hamilton came past as well. Coming down these long straights, defending super hard, right up the inside there. Breaking into this quick, the first bit's pretty quick, and then you've got to slow it right down. Try and get a good exit. This is where I ran wide, got a bit of contact. He's pushed me wide there, and I've had to try and send it back up the inside, get it stopped, and then the racing point was way too quick for us. Running wide, that was my mistake that led to the first corner incident, and hopefully it's shown here. Here we go, pushed him to the inside. I've tried to hang it round the outside, and it's so weird how that happened. How he just spun from the front, but benefited us in the long run. Managed to keep them behind. I think they would have got past us if I'm honest, but P10 in this race after a crazy, crazy turn 1.
I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
Delighted is the answer.
Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
I'm going to say not really had the power advantage. Obviously that's not correct. I feel like we were holding everyone up, but just try and help the power unit team and boost their acclaim up.
Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
I'm going to say they are. I do it to see the smiles on their faces. As team boss, as well as the driver, I want to make sure everyone's happy. And obviously with my performances on track, hopefully we can do that. And 2 points finishes in a row is fantastic.
That was a close finish. How are things between the two of you?
I'm going to say things are great. The competition is pushing us both, and that's true. Great competition. You look at Senna and Prost. Without Senna, Prost never achieves as much as he does, and he's probably not as good. Same in the other way. Without Prost, Senna wins a lot easier and doesn't have to push himself to the absolute limits of what they can achieve, and that's no different with us. We've got to try and push to beat our rivals, and that's what happened with Pierre today.
It was more like dodgems than Formula 1 today, wasn't it?
I'm going to say those were just friendly nudges. It's all good in racing. Rubbing's racing, as they say. I think some of it was probably avoidable, but that turn 1 was just utterly crazy. I don't really know what happened there, but that's what I'm going to go for. Rear wing has failed. Do some activities. We've got 2 days. Let's boost Mick up, build his pace, and then look at this R&D tree, because our rear wing flap has not come in. It will come in after the Austrian Grand Prix, which isn't ideal. I'm actually going to save up our resource points for after the Austrian Grand Prix so that we've got a big boost, because we can do some major upgrades that are going to really boost our car. Like, this development here looks fantastic, same as this one here. So realistically, all the next upgrades are pretty major that we can do right now without departments being overrun with stuff to do, so you can't make it happen. So I'm going to save our resource points up for the next Grand Prix after Austria, where we'll also be making our decision on whether we keep Mick on board or bring someone else in. And that is where we're going to leave the video for today. A crazy Grand Prix. I did not have the pace, that is for sure, but we managed to salvage a P10 after what can only be described as the weirdest circumstance I've ever seen that I've experienced on a game like this. Kvyat getting that much damage from a slight tap, and then for everyone to stop behind him. No one avoided the situation, they all just stopped, and Mick picked up a little bit of damage and had to pit, and it allowed us to gap everyone, because to be honest with you, if I'd made another mistake like that, they were coming past and I wouldn't have been finishing in the points. But we managed to get 1 point, which is fantastic. Heading into the Austrian Grand Prix, somewhere where I feel pretty comfortable. I like the circuit, that last sector is pretty fun, the quick right-handers onto the main straight, and hopefully we can have a good result there. As always, thank you ever so much for watching these videos. The support on them has meant so much to me. Hope you guys are enjoying them just as much as I am making them, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.